What do you do when you are told that the thing that's holding you back from actually achieving success is a fear of making money and that money will change you? In this episode, we are going to dig into what I did when I heard that for myself. So see you on the other side. Hey friend, welcome to this episode. I'm super excited to have you here. And I got a question for you. In fact, I probably feel like I already know the answer. If you're like me, then you have asked yourself, how can you build a successful business that is pleasing to God, that does not consume all your time, and you still have time to have the adventures with your family and make the impact that you've been called to make? Is that true? I'm assuming it is, because that's why you're here. So this has been a struggle for me. Over the years, like if you've listened to some of my other podcasts, I have tried many different side hustle type things. And what happens is that many times I have quit for one reason or another. One, I guess what I could call now is one excuse or another. But what I wanted to, lately I've really been digging into really trying to understand what exactly is my messaging? Who exactly am I, who exactly am I talking to? Like all of these things, right? And so I've kind of been in this turmoil, because I don't want to sound like everybody else. I want to be authentic. I want to truly give value. I truly want to touch people's hearts, and I want to make the impact that I know God has prepared me to make. But I also need to know that it's pleasing to God. Right? Like that's been my biggest thing is like, what if God doesn't like this? What if this isn't God's idea? And I gotta share a little bit of humble pie with you, because so I have these business meetings with God every morning, during my devotion time. Like I get up at 5:00 in the morning or 5:30, whatever. And I spend, a good hour and a half or sometimes 2 hours with God before I have to get ready to go to work. And so I have these journals where I'm asking him questions, right? And I wanted to share some of the answers that I got from these questions with you, because I think it's important that, you understand and go through the same, if you're going through the same struggles and stress that I am about, like what business to start or how to do it in a way that's pleasing to God, then these answers and these questions might actually really benefit you a lot. So I was in one of my meetings, I was asking God, I said, God, what are the fears that are holding me back from doing what I need to do consistently? And as I sit and wait on the Lord and listen, the answer came to me was that I was afraid to have money because it might change me. And I didn't want that, because growing up, I always heard these things about money, that, rich people were greedy, and that, having money wasn't going to, you weren't going to be happy if you had money, and like all these horrible things about money and about rich people. So in my mind, in the deep recesses of my mind, I have a subconscious belief that money is going to change me for bad. And so I've been really digging into that stuff in the Bible, and talking, or, listening to or asking questions of other mentors, trying to understand what that's all about, that whole thing. So as I'm doing that, I asked God another question, and I said, what is the truth? So after I ask him about what's the fear that's holding me back, and I ask him, what is the truth about, instead of like that fear, what is the truth about it? And this is the one that kind of really rocked my world a little bit, because again, the answer came to me and it said that I'm worried I will do something that is displeasing to God. He said, it said to me, which whatever, I knew it was God, but now this is the part that I want you to get. It is dishonoring to not do what I've called you to do. Wow. Did that ever rock my world? So as I'm being so cautious and careful about only doing a business that is going to be pleasing to God, he's telling me that it is actually dishonoring of him to not step into the calling that he has on my life. And So I had to really, really dig in again, because from there, then it's like, well, what do I do? How do I fix that then, right? How do I fix that, Lord? I want to do what's right by you. I want to please you. I want to glorify you. I want the business to glorify you. I want to make the impact that you've called me to make. So show me what to do. Because we know, I don't know if you read the Bible, you know that, what is that scripture that says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And so we need to ask, we need to seek, we need to get wisdom. We need to have discernment. Like, all of these things are promises in the Bible. And so my question was, I was actually in a mastermind not long ago, and that mastermind was talking about just like questions about how to know if I'm running a kingdom business. So the question, how do I know if I'm running a kingdom business? Because the blueprint and the business model that I use is not necessarily a Christian program. And so that was where my struggle was. It's like, it's a really good program, really good values, really good morals, like all of that stuff, but nothing in it really glorifies the Lord. Like, according to words, right? Speaking about him and that kind of thing. There are lots of Christians in it, in this program, in this community, but that was my struggle. It's like, okay, Lord, how do I, if I want to make an impact, if I want to glorify you, then how do I do that if this business, if this program, this community that I am so, in deep in with, how does that work? And so I started to ask these questions, or I was told to ask these questions, like, does my business operate in alignment with God's heart? So does it serve others? Do I align with my gifts, strengths, and trials that God has walked me through? And if so, like, if those things are happening, then yes, that is one of the answers to knowing that I am doing a business that is glorifying God. And so then my next question was, do I use integrity in every decision that I make in my business? Is there honesty, transparency, fairness? And again, that kind of rocked me, because I thought, I'm not sure that I'm being totally transparent on these podcasts, right? Like, I'm not sharing the deep stuff, the deep, intimate stuff that I'm walking through with God. I'm kind of keeping it at a surface level. And it hit me, and I went, okay, I guess I have to change that. I have to, regardless of if I lose listeners or whatever, I have to be true to my God. I have to be true to my calling, which is to glorify him. And so that's why this particular episode is going to take us deeper into my own walk with the Lord and my own struggles and trials, because obviously I think that God has a plan and a purpose for this, and that by me walking through it, I'm going to help other women to walk through it as well. So when I think about, using integrity in my business and that kind of thing, the question was, is the fruit of the Spirit evident in your business, even without me using those words? And okay, so what is the fruit of the Spirit? This comes from Galatians 5:22 and 23, I believe. If it's love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, and I think that's all of them. So here's what some of the questions. So it says, love. Am I thinking of each interaction as a person? So each podcast listener, each download of a podcast, each view on a video, am I thinking of that as that interaction as a real person on the other end of that? Okay, so that's how I would show love. For joy, am I sharing the joy of the Lord? Am I sharing with people, the joy that I found in the Lord? Peace, am I calm and trusting? Long suffering, am I patient and steadfast? Meaning, am I going to keep doing the thing, keep showing up consistently, even if nobody's there? Am I going to keep doing that? Gentleness, are my words and actions kind? Goodness, am I seeking the good of others? So am I Am I truly trying to offer value and what is right for my people, or am I simply trying to make a sale? Faith. Am I seeking God's will and trusting his timing? Meekness. Am I staying humble, right? Rather than getting all up in, hey, look at me, blah, blah, blah. I got this business. I know this stuff. Like, instead of going there, am I staying humble and just being, like I say, real and transparent, right? And then temperance. Am I sharing only that which is good, right, noble, true, and pure? So, and this was the question that I had about AI. Do I use AI? Is that something that, Christian business people that want to glorify the Lord, is AI the place to go for that? And so God has kind of led me in that direction too, that it should only be used for, ideas. So for ideas of titles but not the content. Like, some people will take this ChatGPT thing and get a whole video script or a podcast script or a blog post, and they'll just use it word for word. And so God, specifically for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but specifically for me, God kind of said, no, God is the source. God is the source. Everything else is a resource. So I should rely on the wisdom that he gives me from the Holy Spirit, as opposed to something that is whatever, computerized in this AI world, right? So that kind of gave me peace as well, knowing that, you can use tools that have been created. You just have to use them with discernment, and you have to use God's wisdom above all else. And then the last question that was offered to, for us to kind of dig into was, how am I stewarding the resources from my business? So am I believing that it's all God's anyway, right? So when it comes to stewarding, am I stewarding my time well? Am I stewarding my money well? Am I stewarding my mind well, right? Like, am I putting good things into my mind? And because whatever goes into our minds is what comes out of our mouth, right? And so, so that was a really amazing question. Like, and I love how God uses tests, and kind of with humor even. So this was one of the questions that I'd asked myself recently. No, I didn't ask myself. I asked God, how am I stewarding my resources? And so it's been coming up for me quite a bit lately, but to this whole idea of double tithing. Now, I don't know if you know what, like, tithing is 10% right off the top of the first fruits you give back to God. And then you live on 90%, right? Well, I was challenged to do a double tithe. So 20% of my income right off the top, and live on 80%. Well, that really kind of freaked me out, but this is the second month. I've done it for 2 months in a row now. And both of those months have been like, I've been blessed beautifully by God, by trusting him like that. So anyway, I wasn't thinking too much more about being a steward, but the other day, and I don't say this to brag or to say, look at me, look how wonderful I am. I'm only telling you this quick little story because it kind of made me giggle. And it just goes to show that God is in the details, right? And he's with us all the time. So I was in the grocery store, and I'd only run in for one or two things. I wasn't going to be there long. And I come walking around the corner, and there's this little old lady come walking up to me, and she says, "Oh, Burr, it's so cold out there." And I said, "Yeah, you're right. It's cold out." And she said, "And I don't have any mitts. I lost them." And I said, "Oh, that's too bad." And that was it. She turned away. She turned around. She walked away from me. No big deal. And I was just like, "Oh, that's too bad." And then all of a sudden I walked I'm not even joking, 4 steps from this, where we had this small little 10-second interaction, was a little rack standing there with gloves in a grocery store. And so I was just like, hey, there's gloves right there. And all of a sudden I hear, "You could buy her gloves, you know." And I'm like, yeah, I could buy her gloves, actually. So I go tell the guy at the front, "Hey, I want to buy these gloves for this little lady, but can you just give them to her when she comes through, because I'm going to leave." And so I pointed her out to him, And he's like, okay, so I paid for the gloves and walked away. I have no idea. Like, I have no idea if she was happy or I don't know anything. And it doesn't matter, because the point was not that she was going to see me or know who I was. The point was that God gave me the choice to be obedient and to be a good steward of my resources. And so, you know, I could have just walked away going, I'm in a hurry. I don't have time for this right now. But I love how God just goes, you know, you could do this. Like, you have the means to do this. So anyway, so it was a beautiful, I just giggled all the way home because I thought, I just love how God works. I love how he just shows up like that, right? How, you know, and just puts that little bug in your ear. And then we get the choice to be obedient or not, right? He doesn't tell us we have to do it. And he probably doesn't, I mean, I can't speak for him, but I don't think he's like, oh, that bad kid or whatever, if we don't do it. But I'm sure it pleases him when we do it and be obedient and do the thing that he's kind of put in front of us to do. And so, yeah, so those were some of the questions that I had to really dig in with the Lord and just kind of get clear on, you know what, it's not actually the business model, the side hustle, the whatever. It's not necessarily the business model that is going to determine whether we have a business that's pleasing to God or not. It is our heart behind it all. It is our intention behind it all. And it is, are we going to glorify him with the good things that happen in the business? Are we going to treat people the way that Jesus treated people? And so I really pray that this blesses you, my friend, because I know how scary it can be to be sitting in that place of doubt or fear or procrastination or any of these things that keep us from moving forward in the direction that God has for us. And so, yeah, you know what? If you want to know the proven blueprint that I use that is really, truly changing people's lives, you know, like we are taught how to work in a 2 hour increments. We're taught how to have automations running for us so that we don't have to spend all our time, you know, messaging people or chasing leads. In fact, we don't chase leads. We give value. We offer something to them, and the ones that resonate with it will come to us. And so this is a really beautiful system for anyone, but especially for busy moms who don't have time to do, you know, tech or don't know tech or don't want to learn it, or you don't want to talk to your friends and family continually. Like, this is a really beautiful business model for anyone. So if you want to know how that could actually work for you, even if all you want to do is find out more about it, then come on over to dailypaidblessings.com and put your email in there. You're going to get a couple videos from our millionaire mentor inside that group. And she explains exactly how this all works, how the whole thing works. And then what happens is you'll just, you know, you'll get the blueprint and that kind of thing. And I mean, if it's not for you, no big deal. You just unsubscribe. Yeah, no harm, no foul, right? But if it is for you, you'll see exactly how you can get started with it right away. And then you'll also have me. You'll also have me to help you mentor, because I am doing a weekly Zoom now for the people that buy from me to help them kind of, I mean, everything you need is actually inside the program and the community, but I want to give a little bit extra. So I want to kind of do a weekly Zoom where I can just jump on, get to know people, find out what they need, all that kind of thing. But in any case, if you want to find out more about that, just head to dailypaidblessings.com and I will see you there. All right. Take care, my friend. God bless. How much longer can you afford to wait before taking control of your time and finances? What would life look like with a passive income from an online business that you could build from anywhere? If you had the support and the resources to succeed, what kind of impact could you make for yourself and your family? On this podcast, you will find simple solutions to help you start and grow your own online business that will pay you daily, even when you are enjoying adventures with your loved ones. My mission is to equip you to be wealthy in both time and money with digital marketing skills, tips to overcome adversity, and steps to living out your purpose. If you are ready to say yes to a more rewarding and fulfilling life where you are making a bigger impact and transforming people's lives, then you're going to love this podcast. Hey, my name is Melanie. I'm a wife, a mother, and a blessed believer. I tried over the years many different side hustles to try and make a passive income and to live this life of freedom that everybody talks about. But what I finally realized is that I needed a step-by-step plan to keep me focused and consistent. I needed to link arms with others who were doing what I wanted to do, and now I'm excited to get to share with you what I'm learning. If you are ready to finally find freedom and own your own online business that helps you to never miss another family fun adventure and to make an impact while sitting on the beach, then this podcast is for you. So strap on your hiking boots and let's climb this mountain together. If the thought of starting an online business kind of freaks you out, I totally get it. I have been there, I've been overwhelmed, I've been stressed, and I totally understand that, especially as a busy woman, this is fairly daunting. However, I want to share with you a story. This is from inside of our community. This lady, her name is Wendy Nolan, and she says, kaboom, 100,000 US dollars in under 2 months. Wowzers. This Canadian grandma is thankful every minute for this amazing business. I'm continually amazed at how everyday, average, ordinary people like myself can leverage such an amazing business program and achieve these mind-blowing results. Watch out, summer, because for the first time in 35 years, I will be having some time off. Now I just need to figure out what crazy fun things I want to do first. To say my heart is full and bursting with gratefulness is an understatement. Okay, she is a grandma. She's a 55-year-old grandma, and she made $100,000 in under 2 months. Now, I'm not saying that everybody does that. That's not, that's her results, not everybody's results. But the way that she made so much success in this business is because of the completely simple business model that we have, that I'm a part of, that she's a part of. If you want to know how that works, you can just head on over to dailypaidblessings.com. The link will be in the show notes. Head on over there and just enter your email. You'll get to watch a couple videos. I mean, if it's not for you, just unsubscribe. No big deal. But if you're curious, you'll start to get emails from me. And again, I won't spam you with emails, but you will see a very simple way to start a business with a very lucrative payment potential. So if that excites you, head on over to dailypaidblessings.com and I'll see you there. Thanks for listening. I pray that this episode blessed you. And if you do feel blessed, would you please share it with someone else who may need to hear this information? And also, if you could just take a couple of seconds and write a written review, I would absolutely appreciate it, because it lights me up, warms my heart to hear from you, but also it helps other people to find this podcast who may need this information. So I thank you, my friend. I'll be praying for you, and I look so forward to seeing you on the other side. Take care and God bless.